Hi, my name is Cheryl Simpson. Let me introduce you to Visual Studio's Live Share. Before I show you Live Share working, let me give you a little bit of an example of what Live Share is. If you have any experience with Google Docs where you have two students or two people one time working on the same document, same kind of concept. Except in programming, there's a lot of extra little things that go along with it. Debugging, IntelliSense, your environmental preferences. These are things that Live Share allows you to do. Live Share is an extension that we add into Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code. Both are Microsoft products. And this allows you to create a session to allow your users, yourself as an instructor and or your students or even multiple students together in a team to collaborate on the same document at the same time. This session also allows you to make audio calls so you can talk to each other while you're working, and chat windows so that you can type in answers for those that don't have a microphone or don't have the ability for an audio call. One of my favorite things about Live Share is the ability to follow a user or unfollow a user. When you follow a user, as the user is typing, your screen will automatically follow them. However, if you want to navigate your project, couple of documents on your own, you can unfollow that user and be able to work through all of the code on your own without anything being affected by what the other users are doing. So who would use Live Share? Well, in the real world, professional programmers use Live Share a lot. It's used when you're in different locations and even sometimes when you're in the same room. Pair programming is a term that we use in computers to refer to multiple people working on the same project at once. Having multiple eyes looking at the project, you can follow it, figure out where people are making logical, syntactical errors, things in their code, and you can come along and fix them. You can add comments while another person is writing. These kind of things don't happen in basic pair programming because one person is the navigator who's sitting on the keyboard typing, and the other people behind them are talking. With Live Share, everybody gets to be sitting at a computer. Everybody gets to be typing, and they can all talk to each other at the same time. In an educational environment, generally I will look over my student's shoulder while they're programming. I can see their code structure, I can see how they're designing, and I can make suggestions at that point. In an online class, that's really difficult because I don't see their computer. We're not in a classroom. I can't look over their shoulder. But with this software, I can open up a session with a student and let them just code, and I can stand over their shoulder and make suggestions. Okay, how do you want to handle this next part? What do you want to do here? What do you think we should do at this point? Asking those probing questions that help them to really understand what they're doing. Team projects in an online environment are also much easier with Live Share because everybody is working with the same code base. You don't have to worry about you working on a piece of code and then emailing it to the team members and then them getting it, or downloading and then trying to upload changes. With this, we're all working on the same document. When the document's finished, it's one document. Students who are already familiar with computers and programming, so high school up to the college level, would get a lot of benefit out of this program. At the first levels of programming, your code is not that complicated, but it gets complicated quickly. Any programmer will immediately be able to see the benefits of sharing their code and working together. So if this sounds like something you want to play with, let's talk about how you would get it. First off, I'm going to explain to you how you would get it from Visual Studio Code. The exact same symptoms work for Visual Studio itself if you want to use the community version or the professional version of Visual Studio. I find VS Code works better with my students. It's a little bit simpler and a little lighter. So in VS Code, you're going to go to the Extensions tab. I always say it looks kind of like Tetris with this little couple of blocks. And you're going to type in the word Live Share. I almost always use at least the first three options that pop up, which is going to be Live Share itself, the Live Share audio, so that I can make audio calls, and then the Live Share extension pack, which just adds a couple of other collaboration tools. There's also a Live Share whiteboard, which allows you to open up a whiteboard for drawing whiteboard options in the middle of your session. Once you have that installed, you may have to reboot your computer, you may have to reopen Visual Studio Code. You're going to see the Live Share icon, this little arrow with a circle on it. You're going to click that little icon to see your options. At the beginning, you're going to see two options. One is going to be to share, and one is going to be to join an existing session. If you want to create your own session, so me as the instructor may want to open a session with my students to show them something I have on my local computer. I can start my own session by clicking share. When I click this, it's going to prompt you to enter either your Microsoft or GitHub account information. You can use your GitHub account or you can use your Microsoft. I tend to use Microsoft because our school uses Office 365, so I already have a Microsoft account with my school. Once you're logged in and go through a series of prompts that say, are you sure? Do you want to open a session? Did you mean to do this? Your session's created and the link to your session is copied into your clipboard. From there, you can paste it into an email, you can paste it into Microsoft Teams, you can paste it into any situation that you want to. You also have the option of being able to select previously selected users and invite them directly without having to paste anything at all. It pops up on their screen if they're logged in and says, Cheryl would like to start a session with you. If you want to join someone else's session, so if I have a student who is showing me their code and they want to open a session to me, they would send me the link. So again, it's just a regular hyperlink. I would be able to click that hyperlink and it would be able to open in Visual Studio Code on my computer instantly. The great thing about this is it keeps all of your preferences, all of your personal settings for your computer. You have the option when you're joining another session to log in as anonymous and type in your own name, or log into Microsoft or GitHub, as we talked about before. When you are finished sharing and you're done with all of it, you can just click the end session or the leave to finish the session. Let's take a couple minutes to actually look at LiveShare in action and see how it works. So this is the opening screen for Visual Studio Code. As you can see, I have no files open or anything. The first thing I need to do is make sure that I have the extension installed for LiveShare. So this is the extension button. I always say it looks kind of like Tetris. And you want to come up to your extensions and type in LiveShare. I already have it installed, as you can see, because these don't say install. If I did not have it installed, it would look similar to this. You want to make sure you get at least the LiveShare, but I've also added the audio and the extension pack. In addition, you can add a whiteboard, which will add a real-time collaborative whiteboard to your LiveShare as well. So these are the three that you need to have. Each one of them you should be able to just click and then click the install button and it will install the extension for you. That's all you have to do. There's no cost and there's no logging in that you need to do. Once you have LiveShare installed, you can go ahead and click on the LiveShare icon. It's this one here with a little arrow with a circle underneath it. If you click on the LiveShare icon, you'll see your session details. And in my situation here, I have some recent contacts, students that I've talked to, and then suggested contacts of people that I may want to contact. In this case, I just have myself because I've already logged in. If you have not already logged in, you are going to have to log in. Let me go ahead and sign out so I can show you what that login looks like. When you use LiveShare for the first time to create, you need to sign in using either your Microsoft or your GitHub account. You do not have to use Microsoft. You can use GitHub. That's fine. I'm choosing to use Microsoft because our school uses Microsoft accounts. In this case, a pop-up is going to come up from my browser that is going to ask me to sign into my account. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select my school account. And it's going to pop up and ask me, it would ask me for my password. It already knows my password, so it passed through that. And then it says, are you trying to sign into Visual Studio Services Client? I'm going to say, yes, continue. I do want to do that. If you have never used this before, it is going to pop up and ask you a couple of questions, asking if you want to open Visual Studio Code. I would select always allow, but I'm not going to, just to show you that that's how that works. I'm going to say open, and then it's going to pop me back over to Visual Studio Code. And it's going to say allow the extension to open this URI. And I'm going to say yes, because I do want to open that extension. Again, I could click the don't ask again if I wanted to. And I can say open. It's creating the session now. As you can see, it says starting collaborative session. And it has created an invitation link that it has copied into my clipboard, which means it's already copied. So if you click Control C, that would be to copy it into the clipboard. So I can just click Control V or paste in any situation where I want to share this link. So if I wanted to make a new email to a student, I could do that. I could come over here. This is just my notepad just to show you. And I can hit Control V to paste. And this is what the link looks like. It's going to be Prod Live Share Visual Studio Engage SaaS on visualstudio.com, and then the join with this long session ID attached to it. That's all the link looks like. And the users can click that link to be able to join this session. From this point, I'm connected. I'm in a session. And so I could invite somebody to my link, and yet I could show you how they could do that. So let me go ahead and do that. And as soon as they respond back, I will continue the video. We can see here that my husband, Patrick, has joined the session. He is in this light orange yellow color, and anywhere that he needs to be in the code is going to also have that color. At this point, Patrick can start using the code. As you can see, he's just selected some code to be able to change it to do whatever he wants. In this case, he's changing the code from his site over to mine to make it say Hello Java instead of Hello World. At this point, I can click the Run button to be able to run the code, and you can see that that terminal popping up with the Hello Java is popping up correctly with his code. So his code has just changed my code from his location. I, on the other hand, can go in and start typing comments, or I can be checking his code to make sure that it works the way I want. I have the option of following or unfollowing him, so that anytime he wants to make his own code, I could be watching it, or I could be going and looking at my own code in different parts of the program. When I invited Patrick to join, I was able to select him specifically from my list of contacts here. So if I go to my contacts, I can click the Invite Contact button, and that allows us to invite them directly. That way you don't have to share any extra links anywhere. I'm going to show you now the chat session for this class, or for this project. As you can see, I can open up the session chat and I can say hello to Patrick. At the same time, Patrick can go back and respond to me. So you can see in the bottom where Patrick responded with hello. This is a great way to be able to allow your students to talk to you while you go and work on your program. Another option that we have is sharing side by side. Side by side is really a useful thing because I can be working on my code, he can be working on his code, and we can look at both pieces of code separately. If I unfollow Patrick here, there we go, then I can change code while he's typing. So in this situation, he has misspelled the word private. I can fix that. I can then go in and change the word void, fix that. I can check his code while he's typing. Now a lot of this stuff, let me just get this out of the way and make it a little bit bigger. You can see he can continue typing. I can see his syntax errors. I could go in and add the semicolon there that I need. While he's typing, I can then go up to the top and I can type in the call to the method. I can check all of the IntelliSense, which is going to tell me that the method needs to be static, be able to do that, and run. He, of course, did his own version of typing. We were able to work on the project at the same time. So hopefully that example with my husband Patrick was able to show you how easy it is to use LiveShare to allow multiple users to be typing information at the same time. You can run your code, you can share your terminals, you can be able to debug and check things as you go along. It's great for online code collaboration. There is actually a preview version of a web client, which doesn't require you to have Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code installed locally. It's being done through a web client. That's not available as of today, but I'm sure it'll be soon. When your students are exposed to these type of tools that are used in the workforce, they've got the skills when they leave your school. So it's great. Of course, online classes, creating your instructor presence is so important to be able to associate with your students, get them to know you, feel comfortable talking with you. This tool allows them to work with you as though you were sitting in a classroom together. Your student engagement is enhanced and they get to work one-on-one with you. For more information on Visual Studio LiveShare, you can go to the Visual Studio LiveShare site, visualstudio.microsoft.com, services, and then LiveShare. You can always just search for Visual Studio LiveShare. You'll get the screen here. If you don't already have Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code installed, you can install them directly from here and then get the extension. I hope this has given you a good idea of what to expect from LiveShare. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and have a wonderful day.